Alright guys, welcome back to another Opera Omnia video where we're going to be talking about force enhancements for free-to-play players. This is going to be a guide video, and this is going to be one of my first guide videos for free-to-play players, because in general, like when it comes to my videos, I mainly just talk about the characters and all that good stuff, what they're getting, should you pull on them, etc, you know, stuff like that. But when it comes to a free-to-play guide, you know, it's a slight bit of a challenge, and it makes me think as a free-to-play player, like if I was actually a free-to-play player, like how would I look at characters, like in terms of like which one should I invest in when it comes to force enhancements? Like which one should I give a little bit of this, which one should I pass up on, or maybe hold off on until a later date when I have a little bit more character board points or force enhancement mats to be able to level up the force enhancement levels for a character. So hopefully this guide is able to help out free-to-play players out there, and I would appreciate some feedback from everybody because I am trying my very best to think like a free-to-play player, but at the same time give the best recommendation in terms of like which character or what route you can actually take for the characters that are going to be released for the month of July. So I'd appreciate the feedback, and thank you ahead of time if you do leave a comment for this video. But yeah guys, with that being said, I just want to give a big shout out to the viewer who recommended me to do this type of video for you guys, so by the user of YouTube J. So thank you to him, and make sure to thank him down in the comment section below. But because it seems like just based off of the feedback from the community posts, a lot of you guys really wanted this, and like if I knew this ahead of time, I definitely would have been a little bit more prepared to create this video. But hopefully with the slides that I have prepared for you guys, this should be enough to give you an idea of what you can do for upcoming units. So first things first is I want to talk about the total free-to-play character board points for July. So basically in total for all of the events that we are getting, free-to-play players will be getting a total of 30k character board points, plus you're getting an additional 30k from the co-op token exchange that is going to be released with the Act 3 Chapter 8 Part 1. So that is a total of 60k character board points, which is great because these are going to be very important because you need these to be able to level up the force enhancement levels alongside with either the force stones or the force fragments. Now, talking about fragments, the total free-to-play FR fragments, we're going to be getting it. We're going to be getting a total for the month of July of 120. Plus, we are going to be getting the additional 40 from the summer Gigantor daily hunts, which is great. So that's a total of 160, which with just those specific amount of fragments right there, you can level up almost up to 3 units. Like if we were getting like 60 instead of 40, then we can easily fully max out in terms of FR fragments 3 FR units. So regardless of that though, I mean, like if you do manage to get because when you look at it, if you do manage to get an FR weapon for a specific character that is going to be getting an FR weapon, and if you do fully max it out, remember that you do also get 2 force stones. And if you have those 2 force stones, and if you use 20 of the FR fragments, then you can fully max out a character's force level alongside with the enhancement points that you need to be able to unlock all 30 levels. But we'll get into that here in just a bit on what exactly you get when it comes to all of these different levels. So next up is going to be stream rewards that we are going to be getting as well. So with the stream rewards, we're getting an additional 15k character board enhancement points. Again, these are going to be really important to level up the force levels. 4 high power stones, which is going to be needed to limit break a FR weapon, unless you get dupes, then that also helps out as well. We're also going to be getting 4 force stones. 4. That is fantastic. So now we will have the ability, if you do complete all Shinryu fights, to be able to max out 3 FR units in general. Now, you know, of course, that also depends on like how much enhancement points you currently have at this moment. We're also going to be getting 20 power stones, 20 draw tickets, 10 guard tokens, and 4,000 gems. Now, the next slide is going to be what do you get with different force enhancement unlocked, or with force enhancements unlocked at different levels. Now, this is color coded to give you a better understanding of what exactly you get. So, between level 1 through 11 for the force levels, your character is going to get an increase, or will be able to increase the FR gauge charge speed. They will also get an increase in the HP damage bonus boost after their own turn during force time. They will also get an increase in the Brave and HP damage kappa for their skill 1 and skill 2 when their FR gauge is at 80% or higher. So that means just more damage for only your skill 1 and skill 2. Then if you increase the levels between, or if you unlock the levels between 11 through 21, you'll be able to get a bigger increase in the FR gauge charge speed. The same goes for the increase in the HP damage bonus boost after own turn while the force gauge is active. And now you get an increase in the Brave and HP damage kappa for your EX and LD abilities whenever your FR gauge is at 80% or higher. And then finally, between FR levels 21 through 30, you get another increase, or the last increase to the FR gauge charge speed. You also get your final increase with the HP damage bonus boost after own turn during the force time, which I will get into here in just a bit on what exactly that specific line means. And finally, at between 21 and 30, you get an increase in the HP damage bonus boost after using skill 1 or skill 2 during the force time, or while a force ability is active. So that specific line right there means that you are going to be adding, on top of the HP damage bonus if you meet said condition, on top of that, you're going to be adding a 5% to the HP damage bonus when using only your skill 1 or your skill 2. Now, you may be wondering what the HP damage bonus boost is. Basically, what this is that regardless if you meet the condition or if you do, what this does is that at the end of a character's turn, they will add to the HP bonus damage up. So while a force gauge ability is active, let's take example Kane. If we do have Kane's FR ability active, at the 3 passes, which is going to be 28, 18, and 8, or basically the force enhancement levels, he will be adding a 1% to each of, well, while you have each of those 3 force enhancement levels active. So that is going to be an additional 3% that Kane will be adding at the end of his own turn to the HP bonus damage up. Finally, we're going to take a look at the characters for July. And all of these characters are going to be getting their force enhancement levels unlocked by the time their event releases. Now, I do have everything color-coded. Anything that is white is pretty much characters that I personally would not recommend increasing their force enhancements unless it is going to be a character that you are 1000% going to use. Now, any character that has their name in yellow, I would personally recommend that you max out their force enhancement levels to get pretty much everything out of them. So that means that you're gonna give them the passes to increase the force gauge charge speed faster. You're going to get that HP damage bonus. You're going to get that additional HP damage bonus whenever you use that skill 1 and skill 2. And of course, you're going to take advantage whenever the force gauge is at 80% or higher in terms of getting that increase in the Brave and HP damage kappa for your skill 1, skill 2, EX, and LD. Now, of course, you can go different routes, but the main reason why I highlighted Kane, Cam, and Tidus with the yellow color is because these are the characters that more than likely players for the month of July are going to be chasing for. Now, when it comes to the pink color, I would personally recommend that you level up his force levels up to level 23. The reason why I say up to level 23 is because you'll be unlocking all all 3 of the Force Enhancement level passives to be able to help in increasing the force gauge charge speed. Not only that, but he will also be taking advantage of getting that Brave and HP damage cap up for his skill 1, skill 2, EX, and his LD ability. Then if you want to wait until a later date to fully max out his force enhancement levels, then you'll be able to take advantage of the HP damage bonuses after his own turn, and then whenever you use his skill 1 and his skill 2. Now, there are some characters that do have the green color. These are characters that I would recommend that you level up to Force Enhancement level 13, or which is going to go with Force level 13. So with Force level 13, you're going to get at least 2 out of the 3 passives to be able to increase the charge speed for your force gauge. And when it comes to Ignis, Braska, and Cryo, they are FR chargers because they do have abilities where they do get that bonus for increasing the force gauge faster than other units that are going to be coming out for July. So these are characters that if you are wanting a character to be able to increase the charge speed, then these will be the 3 that I would personally recommend. And then they are also the color blue for being an FR charger. You also have Penelo in there as well, but with Penelo though, like you can easily just like give her like force level up to 13 if you really wanted to, just to have her focusing on being an FR charger. Now, if I was a free-to-play player and I'm here trying to figure out which route should I take, which characters should I invest in when it comes to the force enhancement levels and whatnot, with the limited amount of character board points and the fragments and or stone shards that I have, which route would I personally take? Now, if I was going for Kane and Cam, for example, for me, I would at least give Kane the force level 23 so that way I do have all 3 of the passives to increase the charge speed, and I still get a little bit of a damage increase when it comes to my skill 1, skill 2, EX, and then LD. Now, if I do manage to get his FR weapon for Kane, and if I decide, hey, I'm going to fully max out his FR weapon, then I'll have those 2 stones, and then I will also have the fragments as well from either the co-op or from the Stream Awards whenever they do decide to give that to us. So if that's the case, then I would actually fully max out Kane if I do have the character board points, because one thing to know when it comes to leveling up the force enhancement level, the force level, excuse me, to fully max out all 30 levels of a character's force levels, you need a total of 15k enhancement points. That's why they are giving us a good amount of enhancement points now, because like it does cost a good amount of enhancement points when it comes to maxing out a character's force level. So that's another thing to look at as well, which is why, you know, to not use up all of your enhancement points and at the same time not consume all of your stone shards or stone fragments, it's best to at least get the character up to force level 23 so that way they will still be dealing damage or much higher damage while the force gauge is at 80% or higher, but at the same time they will also be helping in charging up the force gauge as well. So if I were to go with Kane and Cam, I would at least fully max out Kane, and then by the time I get to Cam, I would at least get him to force level 23. But if you feel like you are wanting to chase any other character in between, then I would at the minimum go up to force level 23. Now, if I wanted to get, let's say an FR charger, let's say if I wanted to pick up Krau, if I wanted to pick up Braska, at the minimum, I would at least go to force level 13 with either of the 2, if per se, I went ahead and either increase Kane's FR level to 23 or max it out, then I would at least like to get them to force level 13, so that way I at least have 2 of the charge speed passives, right? Because if I go that route, I will have the charge speed passives from Kane, but I will also have at least 2 from either Crow or Braska. Now, when it comes to On, like, you could probably hold off on maxing out, or not maxing out, but leveling up his force levels for a little bit if you are wanting to hold off for Cam, and then later on you can actually max it out, or you can at least get it up to force level 13 so he can take advantage of the Brave / HP damage kappa for skill 1 and skill 2, and you have 2 passes of his force gauge. Now, by the time we get to Cam, like I mentioned earlier, like if you are getting Kane and if you're also picking up Cam, then I would at least get him up to force level 23. But if it is possible for you to be able to max out all of his passives or all of his force levels in general, then you can go that route as well. But at the minimum, I would personally recommend, especially for what he does, and more than likely you're probably going to be using him a good amount, especially if you're going to be passing up on upcoming FRs, then I would at least get him to FR level 23. And then finally, when it comes to Tidus, like I said, like Tidus, you can max him out because he is a strong DPS unit, and he may or may not be a character that you are going to be using for, let's say, Transcendence 10, which I feel like a lot of players are going to be using him on. So like I would at least get him up to force level 23, or if you can max it out, even better. But if you feel like you're not going to be using him anytime soon, then you can hold off and then wait until a later date until you max out his until you level up or you max out his force levels. Now, the reason why I didn't highlight Machina is because I am not entirely sure, like I don't know everybody's roster of characters, so I can't really say for sure as to what's going to be going on with him. I know that with his force enhancements, he will have access to be able to deal higher Brave and HP damage cap, so it really just depends on if he is a favorite of yours, and if you are planning to using him a lot, then I would say you can go up to either force level 13 or 23 at the minimum, but that is really entirely up to you. Machina does get an FR in the future, so you do have time to either hold off on giving him force enhancements or just go ahead and giving some of it now. But again, it really just depends if you are really planning on using him a good amount, because like I said, like I've mentioned, like with force fragments and the force stones, like they are pretty limited, and especially, you know, especially if you are a free-to-play player, then you really want to be careful and making sure that you don't that you don't go a little too happy. If you don't go, basically, as long as you don't throw all of your resources at every single character, and then you'll be able to spread them out throughout like the next month, and then so on and so forth. And like when it comes to global, I mean, like global, they might surprise us with like additional resources, you know, like stuff like that. It just depends on like what exactly is going on. But with what I have said so far, hopefully it'll give free-to-play players an idea of like what they want to do, on how they should use their force fragments, their force stones, their enhancement points, so on and so forth. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me down in the comment section below. And again, I'd appreciate the feedback, because you know, trying to think as a free-to-play player, because I do purchase premium Mog Pass, so trying to think as a free-to-play player, I'm just like, oh man, like, okay, so if I get Kane, that means that I'm gonna have to hold off on an FR charger until like maybe like the following month, this and that, etc, etc. Or if I do get Kane, should I hold off on in terms of force level passives? Should I hold off on Braska, because he can be a decent a decent to average FR charger, and then wait for Cam, because I know I want Cam, you know, just kind of like stuff like that. So it really just depends on what exactly you're wanting to do. But again, some feedback would be greatly appreciated. And yeah, I think with that being said though, guys, that's going to be it for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully this was helpful to my free-to-play players out there. And that's going to be it. So take care, guys, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.